Hello everyone and welcome to Hens Sports Night Season 6, Episode 4. I'm Dylan Devine alongside Gabby Frazier and we are here with some updates around the sports world. The 2025 MLB season is now officially underway league-wide. The Yankees opened their season against the Brewers and won 4-2, as well as going on a historical victory on Sunday against them, hitting 9 home runs and winning 20-9.
Recently, torpedo bats have been called to question as to whether or not they prove to be a good alternative as stated in the rulebook. Following the many home runs that the Yankees were able to steal during the game against the Milwaukee Brewers, many were curious as to if the bats had something to do with their victory. After careful review, however, from the MLB, torpedo bats are safe to stay.
The first round of the NBA playoffs is near, as fans gear up to watch the games of the series, which will take place on April 19th. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder lead their respective conferences as the number 1 seeds heading into the playoffs. Another headline was Luka Doncic's return to Dallas last night that was met with some boos and cheers by the Mavs faithful. Luka led the team in his revenge game with a whopping 45 points and led in minutes, rebounds, and assists in a 112-97 victory.
In addition to this, the 2025 NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are also underway, with their start date matching that of the NBA playoff season. The playoffs will feature 16 teams in 4 rounds, each with a best-of-7 series, all of who are competing for the Stanley Cup. Stay tuned later in the show as our very own Tyler Smith discusses all 32 teams in the NHL.
In other hockey news, the Great One has just crowned a future Hall of Famer. Congratulations to Alex Ovechkin this past Sunday for officially breaking the record for most goals scored by a single player ever in NHL history. Ovechkin scored his 895th goal against the Islanders, breaking a 26-year record within the stands. Wayne Gretzky, who originally led with that record.
The 2025 NFL Draft is just less than 3 weeks away, and many teams are gearing up to make big decisions for the success of their teams. The Titans hold the first overall pick, and Miami's Cam Ward expected to be given a seat as a leading quarterback. The New York Giants, who have the 3rd overall pick, have been weighing their options for their leading quarterback, though Shedeur Sanders has been a topic of conversation for the team. With much uncertainty, stay tuned to see who will stay on these teams' rosters and which new faces we will see this upcoming 2025-2026 season.
The 2024-2025 men's college basketball season has officially come to an end in San Antonio, where the number 1 seed Florida Gators defeated the number 1 seed Houston Cougars. Todd Golton led his Gators to a 65-63 victory over Houston with help from leading scorer Will Richard, collecting the program's 3rd ever national title and the first since 2007.
And continuing with March Madness, UConn won the NCAA Women's March Madness Championship for the 2025 season this past Sunday. Playing against the South Carolina Gamecocks, the Huskies led with an 82-59 final score, reigning them the NCAA March Madness champions.
Congratulations to former UD's women basketball and volleyball legend Alana Deladon on her retirement from the WNBA. Alana, who played for UD from 2009-2013, retires as the 2013 Rookie of the Year, a 7-time WNBA All-Star, a 2-time WNBA MVP, and the champion with the Washington Mystics. That is all for desk updates. And now let's hand it over to Olivia and some of our HSN team to see what it takes to create an episode of HSN.
It's primetime theme. Well, I mean, it's St. Patrick's Day theme, and we haven't done anything crazy in primetime in a bit. So I'm feeling leprechaun costumes, whatever the heart's feeling. But the main topic is March Madness.
I'm thinking sort of a rank of the top 5 mascots sort of thing.
It could be for this one, could be for a future one. Wanted to repitch Capture the Flag.
I like that idea a lot.
Hi, I'm Ryan. Just got done check-in. This week, I'm doing desk updates as well as a March Madness segment. Gonna put in some March Madness, Delaware basketball, NFL free agency, MLB stuff, NBA, Delaware softball, just circulating ideas.
Hey, so this week I'm working on a sport memorabilia package that I pitched. It's a package that'll roughly be 4 minutes. That's really ideally what I try to get it around to. That way it gives some more buffer time for segments. So I'd say anywhere from 4 or 4.5 minutes is ideal time.
Okay, so I haven't started filming mine yet. We're still working out the days for my filming. My package, by the way, is who is your top 5 favorite mascots? This is kind of part of the filming process because you're figuring out all the dates and logistics. Obviously, we're all college students, so life is busy. This is kind of the stress of it, but it's still fun. It's still awesome. You just got to figure out your times. Okay, so we have our camera rented. We just ended up getting it rented from the basement in the library, and we're gonna try and film today.
So it's currently Monday the 10th. I'm gonna be doing the Capture the Flag package, which means that my next steps are to work out a date. We had a lot of people interested in being a part of this game, and so that's gonna take a lot of scheduling and coordination. We need to figure out when everybody's available, what location we want to film in. So it's Friday the 14th, and we're now on set for Capture the Flag. We just set the rules, and we're about to start really soon. So I can talk to them out here using this mic, and now we're testing mic 2. He's a little bit quiet, so I'm going to turn his volume up. Okay, let's switch to mic 3. So now it's about 6:45, and we don't go live until 8:30. Everyone's here because soon we're going to start doing our run-throughs. And so we just want to make sure our show runs smoothly, and so we do a couple practice runs just to make sure that everything's in order and everything works the way we need it to.
That's better.
So we're about to go live. We have about 3 minutes until showtime.
It's time for
We bring the pride to you. Yeet, 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 yeet. Welcome into prime time. I'm Sam Mendelson alongside Tyler Smith. And Tyler, did it look like you were not yeeting?
Yeah, I think you're no yeeter, bro.
Is that a no yeeter?
It's hard to match U2's energy. It's
also to introduce.
Why did you have this guy come?
Well, I got to introduce you. So first we got James Gallagher, but we need one more yeet in there. So yeet. And today we're talking about WrestleMania. So boys, let's talk about one of the 2 title matches. The first title match on night 1 of Mania, Jey Uso versus Gunther. So Smitty, what's your thoughts on this?
Watching the Royal Rumble, I don't think I would have imagined Jey Uso to be winning.
I was so sad when John Cena lost
to begin with, but I mean, we're here now. Obviously, it's a title match. I don't know. I think they have to pull the trigger with Jey Uso winning, or else it's a bit of a missed opportunity. And if he does lose, I don't know how he gets back into the main event picture.
No, I kind of agree with you. Like, I don't know what they do with Jey if he loses, but I honestly think, like, bringing Jimmy Uso into this rivalry and making it, like, more personal and about family, like, that's what really brought this rivalry over the top. Like,
it's elevated.
It's elevated. Like, this rivalry, in my opinion, was terrible. Like, the fans were saying it's so boring because we've seen this for 3 times so far. We've seen Gunther versus Jey Uso. I mean, who wants to see it again? Gunther, obviously a very physical opponent. Jey Uso, more high flyer, athletic. So their ring styles, they don't even like clash well.
Well, I feel like it all comes down to really like a lot of wrestling comes down to like your mic work and like how you're gonna build like this big old fight that's gonna happen. And I feel like this past Monday we saw a change in Jey Uso. Like the Usos were kind of guys, you know, they come out here and they just rap for a promo, right? But this past Monday, Mendy,
so you want me to take it away?
Yeah, take it away.
So this past Monday, there is a promo between Jey Uso and Gunther. So far, Gunther, he's cooked Jey Uso in all the promos. Jey Uso's lost every single one, but not this Monday. Jey Uso came out and he said, Gunther, I need you to hug and kiss your family. And Gunther, guess what? The night before Mania, I'm going to go home. I'm going to pray to the Lord for the man I'm about to come because I'm going to get you. I'm going to make you bleed, and I'm going to take the throne. Yeet! Yeet! I mean, that promo...
We're going to get one yeet out of this.
We got it. But that promo, arguably, in my opinion, saved the feud. Yeah. I mean, I do think Jey Uso's going to win because I just don't know where they go with him if he loses.
We'll hit predictions here at the end, I think. But let's get into our second match, guys. We got...
Listen, I don't care he's heel. I don't care he says, screw those kids.
Yeah, he
That's
does.
basically his new
He
saying.
does.
He has said that.
His FTK stands for something else.
It does stand for something else. I still support this man to the day I die. Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, is just so boring.
Yeah. Tyler?
It's not so much as he's boring. It's we had such a long run with Roman Reigns, and to see that end with Cody Rhodes is obviously a big event.
I'm
And
sorry, I just can't help myself.
It hasn't been the exact tenure that Roman Reigns has, and I think it's gotten a little bit stale. We want to see a different story. He finished his story with Roman Reigns, right? And there hasn't been a really long storyline other than that Roman Reigns feud.
Yeah.
And I think people want
I
to
just
see
want to
something
say though, like
change.
the one thing I like about heel Cena, like everybody thinks like this Cena's super strong. He's not.
It's different.
Two times so far, Cody Rhodes, when they fought, has brought him to the ground for crossroads. The reason this Cena is scary is because he's willing to do whatever it takes to win the match.
Yeah.
He's gonna fight dirty. He's gonna hit you with a low blow. When the ref's not looking, he's gonna go for a distraction, maybe hit you with a steel chair. It's the fight style which makes this Cena just so dangerous, and arguably, like, I just love his mic skills. Like, he's the best of all time for a reason. So
I mean, yeah, I think he's just gonna come out here and he's just gonna do what he's gonna do. He's gonna work a great match and he's gonna find a way to win. Look, he's the GOAT, as you said, for a reason. Look, he's one away from breaking the record, and he's been one away for so long that it's just time that he finally gets over this hump that's eluded him for what? 8 years, maybe?
I think it's been solid. Like the last time he had a championship was again. He lost it to AJ Styles in the
and
Royal
he's
Rumble
retiring,
years ago.
right? So you want to go out in a bang. You want to go on the biggest stage, WrestleMania. I mean, you might as well.
I
change
do
it up
think though,
for
like
him.
they want him to win to set up another Cena CM Punk rivalry one more time at Money in the Bank.
Very true. So with that said, though, let's get into our predictions for WrestleMania. Mendy, we gotta make these quick. So
I'm gonna
starting
go
with you.
Jey Uso and John Cena.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go with Mr. Superkick himself and John Cena as well.
I mean, guys, I don't want to make it boring, but we yeet. It's going to be Jey Uso to win, and then it's also probably going to end with John Cena beating Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes has just become a boring character, right? So it's just not that fun to watch him end. So, watch WrestleMania on Easter weekend, which is going to be April 19th and April 20th, where Mandy and I will be yeeting. And now,
we got to yeet out of Smitty.
I'll join.
Now we're heading to Smitty 250, a new package. Peace.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new style of video I'm calling Smitty 250. I'm your host, Tyler Smith, aka Smitty, and I will have 250-second countdown to recap all 32 NHL teams and their respective season. Once the timer hits 0, my time is up, and without further ado, let's kick it onto the intro. It's another rebuild year in Anaheim, but Leo Carlsson and Lucas Dahlstrom look to be key pieces to build on for the future. The Boston Bruins are last place in the Eastern Conference and look to retool next year with David Pastrnak and Jeremy Swayman. The Buffalo Sabres will miss the playoffs for the 14th straight season, with coach Lindy Ruff's second stint in Buffalo not going the way he had planned. The Calgary Flames hold on to the second wildcard spot, with Dustin Wolf looking to be a legit starting goaltender for years to come. The Carolina Hurricanes struggled during the deadline trading for Mikko Rantanen, however he said he would not re-sign with the team, and Martin Necas going back the other way looks to be a top-line threat in Colorado. The Blackhawks do have Connor Bedard, but he does need help on the wing as soon as possible. It is another rebuild year. The Avalanche trade for Necas and Nelson at the deadline and proved to be great depth for their team, as well as Nathan McKinnon making a legit conversation to be the best player in the league this season. The Blue Jackets were in a playoff spot earlier in the year, however their wheels fell off just at the worst time. They look to rebuild for next year. The Stars are my Stanley Cup favorites, with Mikko Rantanen really starting to gel in the lineup and depth all throughout their entire roster. The Red Wings benefit from a mid-season coaching change, hiring Todd McClellan, and look to get back in the playoffs with their young, scrappy lineup. The Oilers, you can never quite count out McDavid or Draisaitl, however goaltending continues to be a question moving into the postseason. Panthers are your defending Stanley Cup champions, however, have been riddled with the injury bug as they look to get players back for their postseason run. The Kings benefit greatly from a revitalized season from Darcy Kemper in the back of the net, proving to be one of the league's top goaltenders this year. The Wild had an incredible first half of the season, however, their second half they struggled immensely. They look to get Marc-Andre Fleury one last cup before he retires. The Canadiens are back in a playoff spot with their young, scrappy lineup, with players like Nick Suzuki and Lane Hudson leading the way. The Predators were labeled off-season champions, but have turned into regular season disasters. Their free agent moves looked great on paper, but haven't translated well into the lineup. The Devils, they make a playoff push, however they're missing guys such as Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton, Players like Bratt, Hische, and Meyer look to pick up the scrap that they leave behind. The Islanders, Sorokin is playing pretty much every game he can, however, consistent scoring proves to be a continued issue in New York. On the other side of New York, the lights seem to be too bright as Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad regress immensely in point production, and Shesterkin can't quite carry the team like he has in years past. The Senators are very likely to make the playoffs with sturdy goaltending such as Linus Ullmark. The Flyers, they know they're in a rebuild year, however Matvei Michkov is the real deal. He's going to be a young, exciting player for Flyers for the future. The Penguins are older, with Crosby and Malkin getting up in their age. They're going to miss the playoffs. However, the Sharks are a young, rebuilding team with lots of promise, as Macklin Celebrini is a legit Rookie of the Year candidate. The Kraken will miss the playoffs. However, they're still struggling to find that identity since becoming an expansion team. They look to weaponize their $16 million plus cap space during the offseason. The Blues are the hottest team in the league, reminiscent of their 2019 Cup run. RFA signings such as Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg have proven to work out great for their roster. The Lightning replaced Steven Stamkos with Jake Gensel and has proven to work immensely for them. They'll be back in a playoff spot, and you can never quite count them out when it comes to the postseason. The Maple Leafs look to be a top seed in the Atlantic for the first time in quite some time, and Mitch Marner's next contract is going to be worth every penny that he's paid. Utah Hockey Club will miss the playoffs, however, they're happy to have a team in Utah. The vibes are up, and Clayton Keller is a legit top-line threat. The Canucks get rid of JT Miller, however, Elias Pettersson still hasn't been able to pick up in that point production. They look to scrap this year and look forward to next year. The Golden Knights are a perennial contender, with Eichel embracing the city of Las Vegas. They're going to be a threat in the West. The Capitals, man, Ovechkin breaks the scoring record, and young players like McMichael, Protas, and Dubois and Thompson all stepping up the lineup, being legit threats in the East. Finally, the Jets, they look incredible, looking to win a President's Trophy with Connor Hellebuck being a legit MVP candidate in the back of the net. With all that being said, though, thanks for joining me in this race against the clock in the first edition of Smitty 250.
The Champions League roundup is back, everyone! I know you've all been waiting for Anthony to talk about soccer, but here I'm joined today with Henry and Aiden. And, well, let's start it right off. Are you a little surprised?
I am shocked.
I am too. Real Madrid defeat Arsenal 3-0. Look, play the clip. The defense. And Real Madrid have been locked out of the house. They are not coming back. The game is over. They have lost 3-0. And Declan Rice, West Ham legend, did score 2 beautiful free kicks. Carlos, I know it was a rough day watching the game, but you know what? I'm glad you got to see my smiling face today after watching your team lose in the Champions League. What do we think? Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was surprised. It's just shocking that it happened, and I thought it'd be a closer matchup with these two teams, but it proved to not be a closer matchup as we thought it was going to be.
And Henry?
I mean, I think in our little video we said Real Madrid takes it pretty easily, but it's a shocker, to say the least.
Look, some things just need to be scrubbed from the internet, and that can be one of them. Just pretend we never said that. Strike it from the tape. But look, that's a game that's probably put to bed. One that's still in the balance. Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. A classic between a team in Germany and a team in Italy. Both doing well domestically, but Vincent Kompany's men did lose 2-1. What do we think about Kompany as a coach? I think he's okay. I don't think he's that bad. But I think he went from Brighton to... Why is everybody laughing? I'm being serious. He went from Brighton to Bayern. So,
Burnley.
It's not that big of a deal. It's a crazy jump, but, whatever, he's him, clearly. And what about you, Henry?
Yeah, I think you meant Burnley, but...
Oh, Burnley, yeah, I did.
Yeah, he got his team relegated in the season he was at Burnley, and then Bayern Munich, one of the most world-renowned clubs, decided to take him on as the manager. A little surprising, but he inherited a powerhouse of a team. They've won, I don't even know how many of the Bundesliga titles, basically all of them.
Yeah, well, what do you think? Harry Kane up top for Bayern?
Yeah, I think Harry Kane's a good acquisition that Bayern has gotten over the years, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see who wins.
Well, look, bring the camera back. Carlos is probably in the back making fun of me because he's a little upset that his team lost. But we'll go on to maybe he'll root for this team instead. PSG versus Aston Villa. That he did play. Dembele played for Barcelona, who is our next team to talk about. But he scored to make it 3-1. And does Aston Villa have a chance in this matchup in the second leg?
Nope.
No? Just straight up no.
Straight
Just
up
no
no.
chance.
Straight up, no, it's crazy.
I mean, come on. Marcus Rashford.
I love my boy Marcus Rashford. He's been on fire, but they're PSG. Kvicha, Dembele.
Isn't Aston Villa home too? Aren't they the home team or are they away?
I believe they're at home in the second leg.
Yeah.
But they still don't have a chance?
I think they have a chance. They're at home.
Okay.
PSG ain't going no cold, rainy, windy London or England and winning. They ain't doing that.
So you think Aston Villa are going through?
I think they win. I think they win
That's a bold take from Mr. Aiden Aha. Hey, on to our next game though. Reese, we know you're at home. We hope you're watching. I know you're very happy that your team defeated the team that went to the Champions League final last year 4-0. An offensive affair for Barcelona and no answers for Dortmund. I know you are confident in Barcelona.
I am very
confident in them. Do you think they can win it all?
I mean, what are they up 4-0 already? I think La Masia is starting to pay off for Hansi Flick, their academy.
Look, they have developed, they have young players, youth talent. Let's go to our Champions League winning predictions. Who do you have winning the entire Champions League?
Barcelona. It's just Barca.
Really?
They're good.
Gonna be very happy with that. Reese is probably happy at home.
They're very good. It's Barcelona.
And you?
I'll take PSG. I'll take Barca in the final, but it'll be close. But PSG takes the bread there.
Look, I'm gonna have to do something very bold, a very bold and wild take. I'm going with the other people in London. I'm going with Arsenal to win the Champions League. It's gonna be crazy. Look, they can't win a Prem. They're the second place merchants. But as a West Ham fan, it hurts me to say Arsenal will win the Champions League this year. No doubt. Look, we're going to go off to What's Up, Blue Hens with an amazing interview. Thanks for watching. On to the next segment.
What's up, Blue Hens?
I'm Emily.
And I'm Dylan, and we are interviewing today a former equipment manager and professor here at the University of Delaware, Professor Measley. Thank you for being here with us in the equipment room at the University of Delaware's football stadium.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. It's great to be here, and it's a pleasure to be back in a place that's, it looks like chaos down here, but it's sacred to me.
So the sacredness of it, just tell us about it. How did this start for you?
Yeah, so you mentioned I'm a professor here now, but I started as a student equipment manager right here for the football team. Worked from 2002 until 2005, so was here with some historic teams and teammates when we won the national championship, which was great. And spent countless hours down here as a sport management student working with the football program on equipment, like everything you see in here, stitching jerseys, rewiring headsets in helmets, everything you could imagine. It goes on behind the scenes. This is like we used to call it the cage.
So going into that now, what skills did you find here that really boosted your career?
A lot of people joke that being the equipment manager, it is not glorious at all. So the specific skills I learned were things like how to do laundry en masse or how to dry off footballs after it's like today's a rainy practice. That's the worst for an equipment manager. But I always used to hear from other people, it sounds a lot like a thankless job. And actually one of the biggest skills I've realized over time is that it was the opposite of that. The truth is, everyone down here would consistently and constantly be thanking you for the help behind the scenes.
Yeah, do you want to now go in a little bit about what you do now?
Yeah, so I got my start in the sports world. I stayed here for a while to get a master's degree in organizational leadership, turned that into a team building company that I was a partner in, started working with like corporate training and leadership development, kind of like what we do here in class, but for like companies for their training and development programs. And so this niche market has emerged where I now work with former pro athletes and sports figures on helping them get their speaking and training businesses started.
Yeah,
now, what do you think throughout being the equipment manager, obviously during the national championship for the university, what has been people who you want to thank, memories that you've had, laughs, stresses and concerns, and just all the good moments together?
Yeah, so just recently, the 2003 team celebrated the 20-year anniversary. So like I was telling you all, there's There's a picture down here in the cage of us. I'm in it. You can go try to find me. That was a special, special time, a special year, a special team. So we all reconvened before a football game this past fall to celebrate 20 years, and our former head coach, Casey Keeler, came back. And he said something very simple. He said, when you look out there on the field and you see 2003 up there on the national championship banner, no one will ever take that away from you. And I think that's really special, and it reminds me of people I got to work with or network with here. Our current head coach, Coach Carty. So shout out to Coach Carty. He was a quarterback for us on the team while he was here, and it's been great for him to come back and reconnect the community. Originally, the team down here was myself, Kevin and Jen. Shout out to Kevin and Jen. That was it. You know, now there's an army of equipment managers and students like you involved down here. Back then, it wasn't quite like that. And then, of course, John, who is our next boss down here, and then Laura and Boat, who, like, you know, if you don't know it, the team here, they get down here hours before practice. We're now here 2 or 3 hours after practice this morning for spring ball. They're still here, right? So that when those players show up tomorrow, everything's perfect. It's pristine. I think there's something interesting about the Delaware connection here. So, like Dylan, you asked me earlier, why do you keep coming back to Delaware? It's because of that network. It's because of the people. Mix that with amazing memories, and you've got something really powerful. And there's 2 people who I currently am working with or helping in some way. One is Dave Raymond, whose dad was Tubby. You know, if you're watching this show, you probably know who Tubby Raymond is. He's now out speaking and doing trainings and leadership workshops all over the world, and he's phenomenal at it. The other is I reconnected last year with Mike Adams. We called him Pops. It's his nickname. He played here. He played 16 years in the NFL. He's now coaching for the New York Giants. And he's now thinking about, ooh, I could get out there. He's got a phenomenal story too. Get out speaking, inspiring, and motivating others. So, you know, the reason you go do anything in your world as an entrepreneur or a leader is probably because you want to help someone else. Like, it's because you know that person. And so you'll do that. So it's been really cool.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for taking your time here in the equipment room for us, and we're really excited to see where you go with the rest of your time here at the University of Delaware.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you guys for listening again, and now back to you guys in the studio.
What's up, everyone? I'm Matt here with Sam and Sean, and you may have heard of Start Bench Cut on Instagram or Twitter before. So pretty much how it works is you have 3 options, like for quarterback, for football, for point guard, for basketball. You start one, you bench one, and you cut one. And we're going to have a very calm, collected agreement here, I think. So, Sean, you want to tell the right order to everyone real quick?
Of course, man. And just to start off, man, I don't know if you already said it or not. You know, I got short-term memory loss. So the players you're doing for NFL, we're going to do with Jalen Hurts, we're going to do Lamar Jackson, and we're going to do Joe Burrow. So, you know, to start off with starting, I got to go with my Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts. Yep. You know what I mean? Nothing to be said there. Come off the bench, I'll give it to Joe Burrow, and I'm cutting Lamar Jackson. He great player, but when it comes postseason, he just poops his pants. Ain't not much to it. So.
Yeah. Sam, what about you? Think you like that? Not like that? What do you think?
You see, I have some slightly different opinions, you can say. I know that a lot of this stage is Philly-coded, and a lot of this school is Philly-coded, so naturally we have a lot of Philly fans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the proximity to Philly, it makes sense. However, personally, if you want to know my opinions on what this team could be, now I'm just going to start with the cut because I think this is an easier thing to debate. I'm cutting Burrow. The only 2 seasons he's made the playoffs are when Lamar was injured and when some other quarterbacks had injuries. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think his peak is a great regular season quarterback. And, he can't really... Well, I'm not going to say he can't get it done the postseason because he just has to make the postseason first. Lamar has had his postseason struggles, but I think we've seen him get better as the years go on. I think every single season since his rookie year, his passer rating has improved per season. Now, I'm not one to believe in conspiracies or anything or just believe in, coincidences, but should this serve correctly, I think we could see a ring at some point in the future for him.
So personally, with Lamar, I am
That's
going to start.
That's a late April Fool's joke, right?
Yeah.
A very, very
So
late April
to
Fool's
say
joke.
Lamar's good is a late April Fool's joke. I'm not even saying to cut Jalen Hurts. I'm being nicer than most. I'm just saying bench him. He's a talented QB. He plays that system
But
really
for you
well.
to say for him, you can see him getting a ring in your future.
Yeah.
That part is a late April Fool's joke, right?
So
you think that's crazy?
I never said that's crazy. I just said that's a late April Fool's joke, right? Though.
But are we insinuating that a late April Fool's joke is crazy?
I mean, I just think Lamar is not a championship caliber quarterback, in my opinion.
In your opinion.
In my greatness
So
opinion.
if you're not aware,
in your great opinion.
there's this game called the Super Bowl, and it happened
aware.
2 months ago, and the team Jalen Hurts was on ended up winning.
Yeah, the team Jalen Hurts was on ended up winning.
Yeah.
Was Jalen Hurts the reason that they won the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, he's pretty good.
Super Bowl MVP.
I'm just saying you have to have another roster.
Like,
you have to have a lot of people on a roster. One man does not make a team.
He's gotten there twice
know
now.
that.
That's the second
He's
time
gotten there
there.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. I will say. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's trash. I'm not trying to claim that. I'm just saying I think one person is better, and that's where it stops. Everyone wants to put words in everyone's mouth and say that I think he's trash. I don't.
I never said he's trash.
I never said he's trash. I feel like, though, in my humble opinion, let's just say, you put Will Levis on the Ravens. That's a championship team right there. You switch him out.
So?
I think Will Levis got that dog in him.
You think Will Levis? Do you like the mayo in the coffee? Are you a Mayo fan?
Am I a Mayo fan?
Are you a Mayo fan?
Hell no. But I just feel like Will Levis got that dog in him.
You think he has the Mayo aura?
Yeah.
He gotta be the Mayo.
He broke up with that one girl, and like now you see like is Will Levis even going to be on? Where is he going to be next year?
He's gonna be winning the Super Bowl.
What, with the Ravens? Are we going to get him as a backup?
No, he'll go somewhere else. But like, I mean, the thing is, Lamar, he's good, but does he like lead to winning? Like, does what he do lead to winning in the playoffs?
I think you're going to see that in the future. I believe he will win at least one Super Bowl in his career.
Yeah.
I think all these predetermined judgments of what his career is going to be is ridiculous. You never see that for any other quarterback. It's just ridiculous to write off someone.
I don't know.
who
He's
is
got
only
no
starting
ring.
a story.
We'll see you next time on the 24th. Thank you for watching.